Good morning to all. Dear students, in the first semester, first unit, in the third session, we will be learning the general characteristics of phylum Protozoa. And this, before starting the actual session, we will recall what we have studied in the second session, in the first unit. That means where we have learned how to name an animal or an organism through scientific naming system. And we have also defined what is a species. And in this session, we will see how uh, the classification tools are applied and protozoa is studied by generalizing certain features. And in this session, and you will be able to identify a protozoan. And the objective of this study is to make students to identify a protozoa. How you distinguish a protozoa from another animal. And what are the common features or common characteristic features or generalized properties for animal or individual should follow to become a protozoa. Protozoa, as the name suggests, are, they are unicellular. And to locate protozoa, what you have to do and where you have to go, all these ideas will be given in this session. And there are certain pathogenic or parasitic protozoa that also you will understand what is the general, how to generalize the characteristics to these all individuals coming in this file. At the end of this session, you will know how to identify a protozoa and locate a protozoa and how to be aware of the parasitic protozoa. See there, the system of general characteristics is very important. Study of general characteristics is very important because to assign an individual organism, you need how it, whether it obeys all the characteristic features of that particular group or particular phylum. Say there is a method or a system for listing the general characteristics. You can study one by one the generalized facts of an individual, starting from its occurrence, its size, its habitat, whether it is cosmopolitan or restricted in its distribution. So, such common characteristic features, and then we will deal with the shape of the animal and so on. Go moving to the outward to inward, the ultimate and physiological functioning of the body. All this we will list in a orderly manner. So, to list the general characteristics of this phylum, Protozoa, what we have to define Protozoa first. How you define? They are unicellular animals, first formed animals. Proto means first, zoa means animal. First formed animals are Protozoa. And these Protozoa begin their uh, early formed life and early formed animals or first formed animals, and we have to understand that to study the general characteristics of protozoa, we will begin with the size of the protozoa. As you know, a cell is microscopic and similarly is the protozoans. So single celled or unicellular are also called as sometimes acellular animals, and their size is measured in terms of microns. 1 millimeter is 1000 micron. That is, if you divide 1 millimeter 1000 times, you will get 1 millimeter, 1 micrometer. And a cell ordinarily is microscopic. 1 millimeter size can be visualized through naked eye without any tool. But to observe a microorganisms, we need a magnifying tool like microscope. And study of protozoa needs a microscope. That's why we call it as a microorganism. And where do you find protozoa? Protozoa occur universally everywhere in aquatic habitat. They need water. either body fluid or water around them for their survival. Then the habits of protozoa, what they do, they live various kinds of life. They may be either free swimming or attached to some organism like parasites, or they will be living in soil. And they will also be found as commensals inside certain organisms. Parasites, commensals inside certain organisms, and also free swimming. So they show diverse types of habits. Coming to shape of the animalcule. Animalcule they will have very regular shape sometimes or some irregular shape. The shape is regular in certain protozoans where they have a pellicle in their body or a calcium carbonate covering the cell. Now prot- they have a cellular grade of organization as we have mentioned. When we talk about the cellular grade, the cells contain protoplasm. All the functions of the body or the animal are dealt by the protoplasmic organization. Hence, we tell they have a protoplasmic grade of organization. And a protozoan cell is mobile or locomotory. By means of several kinetic elements, the protozoa move. So, what are the protoplasm locomotory organelles found in protozoa? The protozoa have certain locomotory organelles or the structures which cause the movement of the protozoan. Then what are these? The organelles of locomotion are either flagella or cilia or pseudopodia. Flagella are whip-like in nature. That means they have long structure. They originate from granules called blepharoblast granules from the inside the cell, and they extend outside the cell as long whip-like structure, even extending beyond the size of the protozoan cell itself. Now, cilia are minute hair-like structures encircling the cells of the protozoa, and they cause movement by beating action. And pseudopodia are actually false foot. And these are not originating structures and permanent structures inside the cell, but they are observed as extensions of protoplasm whenever necessary, temporarily formed and withdrawn as and when necessary. Uh, Therefore, they are used, even though they are used for locomotion as food, they are not actual foods. So they are called pseudopodia, not regularly or permanent, consistent structures as that of flagella or cilia. Now they have certain protective structures supporting the cell organelle. That is like a pellicle, as we have mentioned. They have pellicle or calcium carbonate covering the cell. Now we will come to the inside of the cell. The protozoan cell is organized with a well-defined nucleus, which is called true nucleus or eukaryon, and it is covered by nuclear membrane. The number of nucleus varies in different species of protozoa. It may be one normally, or maybe some two, or sometimes many in certain animals which show multiple divisions of the nucleus. Now, they feed and digest their food. How they food nourish themselves. Nourishment or nutrition is a property of all living cell. And these protozoa also depend on certain molecules or particles as their food. If they eat totally a animal product or animal, then they are known as holozoic. If they depend on plant origin, materials of plant origin, then they are called as holophytic. If they depend on the dead animal material, then they are called saprozoic. If they depend on other organisms' body for their existence, survival, as well as nourishment, they are called parasitic. Some of them also live as commensals. inside the body of other animals and mutually benefited with the other animals. Now, the food that is taken in is digested inside the protozoan body. How they digest the food? The nourishment also includes digestion and absorption. Digestion is usually enzymatic, and if the protozoa take in food, it is in the form of vacuoles called food vacuoles. The endocytosis results in formation of endocytic vacuoles. As you have studied, it is property of a plasma membrane to engulf any through any internalize the food material and in the form of vacuoles that will be placed inside the cell in the protoplasm, and through a protoplasmic movement which we call as cyclosis, these vacuoles move around the cell and secretion of the cell enzymes will digest the food particle to yield nutrition and energy in the cell. And continuation of general characteristics, we know every living organism respires. Respiration is a property of all living cells. These also respire. And how they respire? Respiration occurs through the general cell surface or cell surface membrane, through the diffusion of gases in and out of the cell through the membrane. And you know, a cell, as a result of metabolic activities, releases carbon dioxide, and this carbon dioxide concentration, as and when it increases in the cytoplasm when compared to the external medium, that will be expelled out through diffusion, passive diffusion through the membrane. Similarly, by in turn, oxygen is taken in. So this is how the cells in the aquatic medium exchange the gases through the membrane and respire. And the cells of protozoan animals also excrete. Excretion is the throwing out of the nitrogenous metabolic waste. Usually, aquatic animals produce ammonia as the excretory material and expel it out through the plasma membrane by diffusion. Otherwise, the toxic content will destroy the animal. So, throwing out of the excretory material is a common phenomena in the aquatic animals. So next coming to the maintenance or water maintenance of osmotic balance inside the cell, that is called osmoregulation. The water content inside the cell has to be managed. Water is something which will pass by passively to the cell from the medium, especially in freshwater protozoa. So passive movement of water into the cell takes place through the membrane, which is osmosis, endoosmosis. And through this endosmosis, as and when water enters to the cell, water in the cell and the protoplasm enhances and the fluid component will be increased. It has to be thrown out simultaneously by osmoregulation. So this osmoregulation is managed by certain vacuoles seen in the cell protozoa called contractile vacuoles. Now coming to the coordination of the cell, each and every individual animal has a controlling system or coordinating system which we call neuromotor system. These protozoa, even though they are single cell, have certain fibers of protein which are sensory in nature. They can respond to the chemical changes and light changes in the environment. Chemical sense and light sense are also seen in these protozoa. And ultimately, the reproduction is property of all living organisms. They multiply in number. They multiply either by asexual method or sexual method. In the asexual method, they will follow the amitotic division or mitotic division. Amitosis is unequal division of the protoplasmic content, even though the nuclear division occurs, and then there will be division of cytoplasmic division which will not take place equally. So the two daughter cells formed will be of unequal size, hence it is amitosis. So it is an asexual method of multiplication in many protozoa. Sexual method, and other than amitosis, mitotic division also occurs in protozoa where two daughter cells of identical type are formed as a result of division. So this is how without forming sex cells, the protozoa multiply in number. So one cell divides into two and so on. The time taken for division varies from species to species and the availability of the media, nutrient in the media and certain other conditions of the environment. Sexual method of reproduction means formation of a varied egg one, or the variation has to be observed in the cell. So we have this conjugation is one method of sexual reproduction in certain protozoa. They will form union. There will be forming of or union of two different strains of protozoa, and genetic material will be exchanged, and a new nucleus which is called as synkaryon formed after the fusion of two genetic material from two different sources will yield a different kind of nucleus. So that gives a type of variation in the next generation. That is why it is called a sexual method of reproduction. So some of the protozoa also show this kind of sexual reproduction. And certain unfavorable conditions of the environment are withstood by these protozoa by N systemate. A type of case or a cyst is formed around this cell to protect themselves, and within that they will multiply by asexual means and release the young ones when the favorable condition approaches. So this method of reproduction is also observed in certain protozoa. And as in with this we had the general characteristics, but there are different kinds of protozoa. More than 50,000 protozoa are identified, and some of the examples we will see. Amoeba is a freshwater protozoan which is seen usually in ponds and can be cultured in the laboratory. Entamoeba histolytica is a parasitic protozoa which is observed in the gut of human beings or intestine of human beings, and it causes a pathological condition known as amoebic dysentery. And entamoeba, the name suggests that enton is gut, amoeba is motile, and histolytica means digesting tissue. Hista means tissue. Histology is study of tissues, as you know. Histolytica, lysis means destruction. So destruction of tissues of intestine causes mucus and blood in the stool. So, so that condition is called dysentery and amoebiasis or amoebic dysentery. So this is causative factor of this is Entamoeba histolytica, which is actually transmitted through contaminated food and water. And this paramecium is a free-swimming ciliate which we find in our water bodies. Along with this another ciliate is Vorticella, which is also a stalked form found attached sometimes to some twigs or leaves. And Euglena is a freshwater flagellate. Leishmania is a flagellate, of course. It's a human parasite which causes leishmaniasis or the Kala Azar. It's black fever, which is now eradicated actually in India, but it was there in early 19th century, early 1900s. So with this, we come to the end of this session, and we have a session summary. Protozoa are first formed eukaryotic animals, and as we have studied, we have to recall some of the points which we have studied, and they are placed under animal kingdom as first formed life. In the five kingdom classification, they are placed under Protista because all the unicellular organisms are placed under Protista in five kingdom classification. And in these protozoans, as we have seen listed the characteristics, all the functions are carried out by a single cell. And some of the protozoa are also economically important because pathological symptoms and parasites in the body of other animals. And MCQs or questions, if you can find some 5 questions in this PPT, we can go through the PPTs and there we will have the correct answers also. And the study material also available. You read, go through and study the study materials and answer the questions. And if you have more doubts, you can read some textbooks also. There are more textbooks on invertebrate zoology, Kotpal by Rastogi publication. and Invertebrate Zoology by Verma and Agarwal, Chand publication, and Kambarnath Iyer, M.G. Nair. So, Sara's publication. So, books are available and study materials also available. And just answer the questions, and we will end this session here. Thank you.